Hi, so I want to take you through this GitHub workflow here, which I'm calling a staged delivery workflow. Rather than just having one target test board where we're going to deploy whenever we push to main, we're going to have that, but we're also going to add in a second board, which we're going to call our release board, and we're going to flash that board whenever we do a release in GitHub. So that's going to allow us to have our always up-to-date main code on our main board and have the latest release for on another board for testing or whatever, and keeping those two things separate. So let's take a look at what we have here. So over here, I've got GitHub loaded up. This is the repository I'm working out of. And then up top here, I have a few different boards. So I've got, this is my local development board. This is hooked up to my laptop. And then here I've got the Raspberry Pi, where this is where the self-hosted runners are running. There's actually two of them. And one of them is for each of the boards here. So there's the main board, there's a little label here called main, which is probably hard to read, and then a release board. So this is going to get flashed whenever we push to main. This is going to get flashed whenever we do a release. So let's look at how we might move our code through the stages here. So, all right, so over here, I've got just a simple Blinky application. I'm going to flash the local board down here. Okay, so that's flashed, and now this LED is blinking. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to start pushing to GitHub and move things from main then to release. So the first thing I have to do is start the self-hosted runners on the Raspberry Pi. So I mentioned there are two of them in different folders. So there's the main one, which will talk to the main board, and the release runner, which will talk to the release board. So I'll just start these up. Okay. Okay, so they're both running and listening. Now I'm going to push this code to main. Let's see, let's commit this. Let's blink LED, commit this locally, and then I will push it to GitHub. Where is that? It's over here. Okay, so I'll push this to GitHub. Okay, so that's done. We'll go take a look at GitHub. We'll see that this action is running here on the main branch, so it's just titled after the name of the commit. And so this is going to flash the main board. It's going to build the application to flash the main board off the main branch. So we'll wait for that to finish. Okay, so we can see that's done now. This LED is now flashing on the main board. Sometimes this takes a second to update on GitHub. That has completed. If we take a look at the runner applications, we can see that the main runner ran the flash target job. So we've got the code flashed onto the main board. Now, if we accumulate enough changes in main, we decide we want to do release. The way we do that is we've got this special workflow here called draft release for main. So you can manually create releases, but this workflow is kind of nice because it automates a few things of the creation of tags and the creation of the release, and it does a rebuild. So there aren't any manual steps here. So other than just running the workflow and setting the new release version number. So if we go take a look at the actions, we can see that this action is now running. We're drafting the 040 release. And when this is done, there will be a new draft release in the releases page in GitHub. It's not going to flash anything. It's just going to prepare the release for us to review, and then we can publish the release when it's ready. So let's take a look here. Release. And this to finish. Okay, so the release has been created. If we go to code, we can go look at this releases section. We can see 030 is the last published released. I just created 040. It hasn't been published yet, so it's not considered the latest. If we go into the releases, we can see the latest published releases, but this one here is marked as a draft, 040. I can go in and edit it, and I might put some release notes in, saying blink the LED, and then we can check this as the latest release. This will make it show up in GitHub as the latest release, and then publish it. So once I do this, this is now published, and if we go look at actions, we can see that the flash release action has been triggered. So this is triggered whenever we publish a release, and this is what is going to flash the release board up here. So we'll wait for that to go, and once it's done, there we go. It's flashing right now. So the LED is flashed. So we started on our local development board, then we went push to main, then we did a release, and the build showed up on our release board. So this is nice for keeping your release and integration work separate, and so you can test these things independently. You could do future integrations on main and not affect your release board. So that's it.